Hi everyone, I just wanted to do a quick lecture for the language research article review. You will be doing 3 of these throughout the semester, so hopefully it will get easier. There is a sort of how-to or quick guide on locating articles that's in the major course assignments folder. I think you will find that useful when you're trying to find articles to use for this assignment. Oh, also, I know the format for this lecture, it'll follow the format of the rubric, but it's a little bit different because I record them in iMovie, so it's easier to create the lecture in PowerPoint and then import it. So you should still be able to follow along with the rubric, though. So each of these assignments is worth 10 points, and so for half a point, you just need to put the title of the article in APA format. So some people get confused by this, but if you look up, like, I think it's Son of a Citation Machine, that resource online will help you figure out how to put the article into APA format. If you use MSU's library website to find articles, you can, there's a button, I think it's when it takes you to the articles, there's a button that you can click on that it'll give you the citation in APA format already. So make sure you use those resources in order to include the citation correctly in the language research article. The next part for the language research article review is just to include a summary of the article. So you can use information from the abstract to help you write this, but please do not just copy and paste the abstract. You need to write this in your own words. So this is just to help me get an idea of the article that you chose and what you read, because I'm not going to likely read the whole article. So just provide a quick summary. This part is worth 2 points, and it should be not exceed 250 words. This next part is also pretty straightforward. You're going to just describe the reason for the study, why the author thought that this study was important, why they needed to do this study, and then describe the intervention that was used in the research study. So if you can't figure out what intervention was used, then you probably have the wrong type of article. So if you have an article that's describing lots of interventions or a lot of different types of video modeling or that sort of thing, then you probably need to look for another article. The article should really just describe one specific intervention that was used that addresses communication or social needs of children with autism. And then you want to just summarize the results and the conclusions, and you should be able to find that at the end of the paper. Okay, so for this last little part, this is where I'm looking for some more in-depth reflections. If you just provide 1 to 2 sentences on how this might impact you in your career, you'll likely get marked down in this section. So everything else for this paper you could find directly in the article. So try to really put some thought into this section, really think about how this impacts your understanding of individuals with ASD. Include some specific examples that you have in your life, and then talk about how you're going to apply this new knowledge to your current or future professional life. So again, just try to be a little bit more in depth and give some real answers to this part. And the last part is there's 1 point allocated to your writing technique, clarity, organization, grammar. So all I can say for this is just make sure you reread your paper before you submit it. You'll be surprised at some of the errors that I get when reading papers, and they would likely be avoided if people just would reread their work. So I'll be looking for things like spelling errors or grammar errors in your paper. And then I know I'll get questions on format, so you can either just take the rubric and then right underneath each number. So if you're answering number 1, you can put that right underneath. Number 2, you can write your answer right under there. Or if you prefer, you can write it out as a paper. Excuse me. And just make sure I can tell what part you're addressing. So if you're summarizing the intervention, make sure I can tell that it's a summary. So one way to do that is to include the heading into the start of your new paragraph. So just make sure I know what part you're addressing if you're going to do sort of paragraph form. So that is it for the language research article. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. If you want me to look at the articles that you are going to choose, you can send those to me as well. It's mentioned in the how-to or the quick guide, but it might be helpful to choose all 3 of your articles at once. That way you know they have a common theme, which will be important when you do the language research article summary.